So we acquire the knowledge. Is it just inherent once you acquire the knowledge that you're able to kind of identify a good opportunity of buying that business? What's secondary to that?
Well, I mean, of course, you have to understand that the fundamentals of the growth and the upside potential, operational independence of the e-commerce business life cycle, because it gives me the ability from a one-person shop in the middle of 40 acres and nowhere with squirrel-powered internet to reach millions of people with my products. Okay, and I leverage the Amazon FBA system as a tool. I'm willing to pay for that tool, and others will argue, "What's too expensive?" Well, too expensive is one man's luxury and another man's poverty. So at the end, the aspect of that is the recognition of a tool that I'm using called Amazon to incubate products and brands and determine their worth. Or if it's a product brand driven line I'm going to purchase, I want to understand that this tool has more upside potential in the market than the current purchase price of that product, which is the business. Okay. So the end result is understanding the market or opportunity of that brand, which means you also have to understand the market or upside potential of Amazon's marketplace first. Not just simply say, well, if I take that brand and buy it, I can just simply move it into the great wide world of marketing and online. That's actually not necessarily true. Some brands and products in Amazon are channel locked. They meaning that they only have the distribution capable within Amazon, but if you took them to the direct to consumer world, they're not going to be profitable. So understanding what makes a great profitable brand on Amazon and which actual products drive that consumer, but also can move into multiple channels beyond Amazon while still maintaining profitability and reaching your target avatar audience. And so there are aspects of the nuances of this that knowledge in a full immersion event, what I call learn and earn, teach you how to do that. Takes it from transitory to intrinsic knowledge, and then into tacit knowledge that you can actually replicate, teach, and learn other people how to do. And that is a full process of immersing yourself in the activities of actually doing it. From there, it becomes a lot easier to see it. It's like driving a car, right? Yeah. It's one, that's how we teach our children to drive cars, and hopefully they don't kill us in the process of learning, right?
That is so stressful, teaching kids to drive.
Really. Here's what I did. I stuck my 12-year-old in a 2500 Dodge Ram truck that she can play bumper trees with.
Nice.
And we set her out on the country roads and taught her how to drive. And 2 years later, she's driving back and forth to the trash every week as part of her activities and down around the holler because she can drive just fine.
Oh, you guys get a holler?
We got lots of haulers out here in the country. Now, I got countryisms up the yin yang.
Yeah.
Now, Neil,
Yes.
honestly, that makes total sense. Before you kind of dive into this, you need to understand and learn the business. And as amazing as this podcast episode is going to be, this isn't going to be enough.
Nope.
I would imagine for them to learn. So how does somebody go about learning this?
Well, in any situation, if you truly understand it's an opportunity and you truly want to take advantage of that and you feel inspired, like we talked about a minute ago, and maybe your job is no longer inspiring you, but you're inspired to go try something different. And the time isn't really as of the issue as we all say, because we'll put time into whatever matters to us most. Time is just an excuse everybody uses. At the same time, you both know you can't buy more of it. So let's be very purposeful with it. We can't buy it back. I can buy back anything else. The end result is understanding that if you need to do this, you should find a mentor or an apprenticeship role in which you can learn how to do this. This is not a traditional institutional knowledge. You should understand that very clearly. If you go through business or marketing or online marketing classes in the traditional institutional world, you will have been behind by 4 years. Things change so fast, sometimes weekly in this model of business, that anything being taught now has to be re-updated next week. So you need somebody who is in a constant mode of doing the business model, who is constantly updating you as to where to go. And hopefully they're doing it 10 times bigger than you think is possible for you. So you have an opportunity to see them cut the trees first in the forest so you can walk in behind them. And it's very important you understand that, because you can go and say, I want to be an electrician, as an example. And just because you put two wires together and the light comes on doesn't mean you can call yourself an electrician. What you're going to need to do is go out an apprenticeship, right? You're going to need to get certified. You're going to need to be licensed. And then you're going to be able to go out in the world and say, I'm a licensed and bonded electrician, and I can actually work on your house without burning it down, right? So we have to understand in e-com, there are no licenses and tracks and certifications to follow, but there are processes and plans to potentially apprentice yourself in a mentor or advisor relationship that will show you those guardrails and boundaries as you go up the hill. it's very important to realize how fast you can take and deploy capital in the wrong direction when you don't know what you're doing, and waste so many more hours trying to figure it out on your own and learning from very, hard knock life rules to do that. I'm one of them. I dropped out of college in my 3rd year, right? And I learned how to bang my head and get bloody by learning all the wrong things I shouldn't be doing and all the things I shouldn't do and all the things I didn't want to do. And I learned very well how to do all of those things badly. And so because of that, I now understand what it is I want to do. And I've understood what I'm actually good at, and I stay in my lane. And if you don't understand those guardrails just yet, because you're living in someone else's, which means you may be driving a corporate car, you may be living in a corporate environment, you may be doing someone else's business in their guardrails, and that feels really comfortable. But once you take off those guardrails, if someone else is not there to help put you back in line, you're going to drive off a cliff. It's just inevitable.
Neil, I got a question for you, Neil. You just wait. Neil, is
one at a time, gentlemen.
Yeah, what I'm hearing is there's a lot of opportunity there for businesses to potentially purchase. What's the expectation if somebody wants to do this? Is this something that somebody can do on the side, or is this something where somebody's got to be in this thing full time? Because the knowledge you just covered, I don't think a lot of people have, right? So they've got to go learn it first.
They do need to learn some of that, yeah.
Maybe clarify that for us.
Well, okay, it depends upon what you want to deploy and what makes sense. It may make sense for you to deploy into a learning mechanism, a launch process, a startup process, a learn and earn full immersion apprenticeship where you go out and learn how to do these things on your own and have some success for it and in it and build it yourself, at which point now going to acquire something is not hard at all, because now you know what to look for, you know the numbers, you understand the mechanisms and the mechanics. When someone says this is a really great business and it has $1 billion upside potential, and you look at it and go, I'd offer you $10 for that. You actually know why the value is being not perceived. And so if you're looking to buy this, yes, you can do this. We teach people in 10 to 15 hours a week how to do this, even when they reach 7 or multi-7 figures, because again, it's the revenue generating activities and the critical aspects that you should focus on, and not all this other nonsense, that actually make the most amount of money and output in your business. And it's typically a lot of mindset driven activities, because you can teach the mechanics to somebody else. You just need to understand the business, right? And the making of that money, and then the right people to actually execute some of those things now that you yourself know what it is they should be executing. I always reference Undercover Boss, right? Have you guys ever watched that show?
Yeah, love that show.
The CEO somehow managed to forget exactly how his entire organization runs, and then he gets to drop to the lowest level of it and figure out he doesn't know shit about anything, right? and that's where you need to not be in that position, okay?
Sometimes I feel Cameron comes in as an undercover boss. But anyways, but
what are we doing?
He won't wear a wig though. He ain't gonna mess up that hair.
Right. This week is not Cameron, it's Camaria. Welcome to the show, Camaria. Yeah. Put lipstick on that pig and it still stinks. But yeah, so you have to learn that. If you could do it on the side, yes, you could buy something. If you got cash you want to deploy and you don't want it just sitting in your account, losing money in inflation or transitory assets, and you don't necessarily want to put it in the stock market like me, or you're hesitant to put it in those other places, you can put it in a physical business with physical assets with a virtual real estate front on it, called the online world, but still physical assets and inventory that you're buying into, right? Not 100% just vaporware. It actually has a physical inventory level to it. So I know my cash is going into that, right?
You just mentioned cash. How much does somebody need, and what's the price tag on some of these businesses? I think
sure.
25,000 to 5 million.
Yeah, roughly, just depending upon the profitability. If it's Amazon only channel and they're at least 15% net profit, okay, returning net profit back at least 15% in a year, meaning if they are $1 million business, they've got a minimum of 150,000 in profit return to that business, minimum. Then you're looking at anywhere 3 to 4x at the exit. Okay, maybe a little bit lower. Based on amount of inventory that sells with the business, based on upside potential of the products, and based upon time, energy, and management required to sort of take on that business. The other thing is, of course, revenues don't make a whole lot of sense in this instance. It's really about what the profit potential and profitability of those products are. If I look at somebody doing 7 figures and they're asking multiples of 150,000 in profit, I want to know that in a reasonable amount of time I can turn that 150 into 300,000. So I need to know the products are not only just profitable, but they're missing some very key opportunities and logistics and in internal management running of the paid traffic campaigns inside of Amazon, or they're just simply missing avatar opportunities in their brand and their product that we could quickly shift into higher profitability or valuations. Those are the things that I'm going to consider including how they're running the business and structure their operational independence. If it's a one-man shop, do you have any people, SOPs or whatnot supporting it? Do you have any employees? I'm going to ask some questions around the business, but the price points of those could be anywhere between 100K for the business, okay, in its total, multiples, up to 10 million. In terms of the sweet spots for getting going, it's going to be dependent upon your cash and what you want to return as money every year as an ROI of your cash investment. So if by comparison, you're going to spend maybe 100K in year one to start a business, start a brand that could return 10 to 50,000 a month in profit or more, or you're going to buy a business that may have 10,000 in profit, and it's going to cost you, anywhere to $300,000 to $500,000, but you don't have a lot of work in it. It's more of that mailbox money kind of idea, or that almost automated income. But you also know enough to be dangerous in purchasing it, so you're not too concerned you can't maintain it, all things considered. But there are all kinds of variables to that. Just as a higher or a different, most recent example, we were putting in on a business that did not have an Amazon channel. We were going to open the Amazon channel as the opportunity. It's about a $2.2 million cash deal. They got owner financing and equity kind of financing on the table for a couple of buyers that had them around 2.7 to 3.5 based on the owner financing deal. That's about 2.6 at the low end on the 2.2 in cash. It was about 2.6 times return based on about 870,000 in profit that he had. So that was a reasonable ask. In fact, it was a little under market value. However, if you've never run paid search, understood vendor relationships, or understood the technicals of running a website in front end direct to consumer channel, that almost automated income could almost automatically be guaranteed to drop in the next 12 months. If now at its current run rate from last year, this particular example was up 45%. So its market penetration had reached, in its 9-year history, a big capitulation moment where it literally took over some of the additional market share and gone up 45% in the last year alone, just by staying in the market and serving the market and its purpose. For us, the deal is going to fall through, which is fine, and I hope they find a great buyer. But our intent was to basically buy it and then turn around in less than 12 months and flip it for 3.7 million, because that is his actual market validation. So we wouldn't have to change too much of the business and operations to make that a great opportunity.
Now, when you're buying this, who's the operator, or do you hire an operator? Are you the operator, or?
Voltage was going to be the operator in that instance. And we have operational staff that was as well capable of managing that channel, opening the Amazon channel, and increasing the value of the business. That was part of the buying structure that we were working out.